Choose life. Choose a career. Choose. Never too old to game. Welcome back, guys. So, in Season 4, there's been some big updates. Some absolutely pound-breaking stuff that's mind-blowing. I'll tell you what, let's go and check out these patch notes, shall we? It's insane. So, guys, they've made some changes, massive changes. The weapons, oh my god, there's just so much. It's ridiculous. They're really mixing things up in the mix. Playlist-wise, we're not worried about event stuff. No, we're not worried about that mode. No, battle pass. No, not worried about that. Map. What? Added some red doors. Okay, wow, there's some red doors. Downtown Tower is now under new management. Okay, there you go. New Gulag hijacked. Okay, so they got rid of the old one. The old one was crap. Hated it. This plywood recreation of the yacht central area will replace the current standoff Gulag. Nice. Love to dump into Verdansk and check that one out. So got some new crash POIs added as well in Krovnik Farmland, the Block 18, Block 16, and the Gorai Bridge. General 120Hz support for PS5 requires a HDMI 2.1. Fantastic news. That's good for those guys out there who got PS5s. That's gonna make things nice. Gameplay. Don't worry about that. Okay, bug fixes. Load of bug fixes. You want to check out. Read it, but don't worry about bug fixes. Now, this is where we're at. New weapons. Got a couple new weapons. We've got the MG82 light machine gun. This gun, I think, is gonna be a killer. It's gonna be a beast. This gun is gonna absolutely kick some ass. If you like the PKM, this is gonna replace it. I reckon this gun's gonna be sweet as. Got to get to tier 15, I believe, to unlock this one. Then you got the C58 assault rifle. Don't worry about this. I've taken a look. I don't think it's gonna be a good one. Now gun. Who wants to use it now? Not me. Baseball bat. No thanks. The OTSN submachine gun in season and the mace in season. We will check those out in season when they come along. So now down to the nitty gritty of what they're saying about these huge changes on the weapons and updates. So, shall I read it all to you? Well, might as well. In a future patch, we'll be making sweeping balance changes to weapons. Let us take a moment to discuss the philosophy behind that decision. At a high level, Warzone is a game about engagements. Quite clearly, that's what it's about, The more time we allot to mechanical and strategic expression with engagements, the higher the skill ceiling and the longer our personal journey of mastery over the weapons that we use. We believe the frequency of these engagements and how we navigate them heavily contributes to the overall level of fun. It's very true. If a gun is totally OP, everyone's using it. It's nice to have a good mix of guns that are very similar. So all the loadouts are going to be quite different. Makes things more fun and enjoyable. We want to enable more escapes from impossible situations. If it's impossible, you can't escape from it. Remember that. Moments of finesse. Epic outplays that you can load and shove onto TikTok. And opportunities to flex exquisite marksmanship. So that means using those sniper rifles. Due to some weapons being far more lethal than others in their class, we feel a reduction in the efficacy of those outliers is necessary. We expect these changes will bring the average time to kill up by approximately 60 to 100 milliseconds. These changes will not only increase the overall capacity for skill expression, but also introduce some weapons into viability that have not yet had a chance to shine. We will begin laying the groundwork for the up-and-coming balance overhaul with the following adjustments. First of all, CR56 AMAX is going to have a nerf once again. But they're not going to bury this gun. The nerf's going to be tiny, I imagine. Groza. A double buff. The Scar, commonly known as the Assault Rifle Golf in Modern Warfare, had a buff. The Assault Rifle Alpha XM4 had a buff. This gun is seriously good as an SMG build. So with a buff on this is going to make this gun seriously OP. If you want to be rocking a double assault rifle loadout, then this gun, or as a support for your sniper, this is what you want to be rocking. The AMP63 was dog taller, and I still think it will be. This had a double buff. Ballistic Knife, same thing, getting double buff, but dog taller. Street Sweepers had a double nerf. This gun was seriously OP before and was shredding players like no tomorrow. The Sniper Rifle Charlies had a buff. The Swiss has had an adjustment, but no buff or nerf, so it's just adjustment to something like an optic or something else. The Submachine Gun Alpha has had a double buff on Modern Warfare. The BULLFROG has had another change to it. The KSP-45 has had a buff. The Milano's had a double buff. And the Bison in Modern Warfare has had a buff, as well as the DMR in Black Ops has had a buff. So what have they changed? So for the assault rifle, the CR56 AMAX, the upper torso damage multiplier decreased from 1.2 to 1.1. This is a very small, slight change. So in my mind's eye, this gun will still be used by most of the people in the lobby. It depends on how they bring up the other mid to long range guns to level the playing field with this. So you might see other guns popping up here. Groza from Cold War. Minimum damage increase from 18 to 23. Okay, nice increase. Upper torso has an increase from 1.1 to 1.2. The lower torso 1 to 1.1. And the maximum damage rate increased by 12%. It's a slow firing, low damage assault rifle. And it was underpowered, they're saying. This tune-up should put it in a subsidy in short to mid-range mobility-based assault rifles. So they're trying to probably get this one on par with the XM4 in terms of those like to run they're close to mid-range assault rifles with a long-range assault rifle built to double assault rifle meta. Don't think this one's going to be topping off the XM4, being as that's had a buff, so that one will definitely be good. This one, don't think so. Assault rifle Golf Modern Warfare, neck damage multiplier increased from 1 to 1.5, and the upper torso damage multiplier increased from 1 to 1.2. So we know this is the Scar in Modern Warfare. So this gun has not a good clip size on it, but is a good gun in general. So this gun might be dominated and be used mainly in solos. So it's worth checking out. If you're a solo player, maybe use this one instead of the AMAX. And let's have a think. The XM4 Cold War, neck damage multiplier increased from 1 to 1.5. This gun was already seriously good as an SMG build. Now this makes it slightly better. It's only a neck damage multiplier, so it's only a slight tweak, but it's going to help in the mix. So this gun, definitely OP, definitely start using it. Handguns, the AMP63 was rubbish. I always said that so far. So they've tried to increase the maximum damage from 30 to 33. Second damage range increased by 14.3%. Upper torso damage multiplier increased from 1 to 1.1. Extremity damage multiplier increased from 0.9 to 1. And hedge damage multiplier decreased from 1.4 to 1.3. So they've had massive changes on this. However, I don't see this being a viable gun or an OP gun at all in any way. The melee ballistic knife, not going to touch on. I don't think this is going to be used at all. Not even going to look at it. Shotguns, Street Sweeper. We knew this was OP before they'd done this patch update. So what have they done? So the maximum damage range decreased by 24%. Second damage range decreased by 18. Third damage range decreased by 7. The move speed decreased by 1. So they've massively decreased the range that we can use this gun at. So this is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, because this gun it was getting on my nerves. I started using it all the time, especially in like Resurgence Island and for, trios and quads. You can literally pretty much clear a room, and if someone's a little bit further away from you, you can still have that massive damage output to them. So this is good, decreasing the range. This will be just clearly a very short range gun, which is fantastic. Like that change. Sniper rifle Charlie for Cold War, bullet velocity increase, which is good. The upper torso damage multiplier increase and the lower torso damage increase. So trying to bring this up in par with the Modern Warfare guns in terms of hard hitting. This gun's going to be the slow ADS one, but it's going to be a super hard hitting sniper camping style kind of gun. Whereas the Swiss, they've just changed the optic slightly, so nothing much there. Submachine guns, Modern Warfare Submachine Gun Alpha, which we know was the Bison. They've changed the upper torso damage multiplier increased and maximum damage rate increased by 10%. So probably trying to bring some of the Modern Warfare SMGs in line with the Cold War, but they do need to increase the speed because the Cold War guns are so much quicker as well for their movement speed around the maps. BULLFROG, they've adjusted the ADS to make it better. That means the 3 progs that we'd have were quite at the same height. That means they've probably adjusted it so it's a little bit clearer and precise when aiming down and keeping on target, which is a nice change. I like that because I do like the iron sights on them. That's improved it, which would be good. The KSP-45 is a massive dominating gun in multiplayer for Cold War. Maximum damage range increased by 16.6%. And extremity multiplier increased from 0.9 to 1. So this is a good double tap gun. So this is going to be for your short to medium range. Oh yeah, here we go. Short to medium range burst weapon, which can shred in 2 hits. So do you go with something like this, or go with something like one of the SMGs like the MAC-10, the PPSH, or the BULLFROG in particular? It's nice to have a burst gun that might potentially be competing with them. The Milano, maximum damage increased from 34 to 36. Minimum damage increased as well. Maximum damage range increased up to also. They've increased everything on this. This gun was rubbish. This was, if you dropped into Verdansk and this was one of the loot ones, you wouldn't want to be touching this at all. It was absolutely dog toilet. I think it's going to be okay, but it's still not going to be good. Submachine gun, Echo, Modern Warfare, maximum damage increased from 34 to 35. Extremity damage multipliers increased from 0.1 to 1. So once again, much like its Cold War counterpart, the submachine gun relies heavily on well-placed shots. These changes should make it a tad more forgiving. Okay, so they've just tried to bring this in line. Tactical rifles, DMR, which used to be one of the dominating guns, and until they fucked up the recoil, so I shouldn't swear, recoil match will decrease, so they've tried to change that a little bit to make it more for a long range compared to the gun, to pair off with something like the AMAX, but still believe that the AMAX will be tier, as well as the new, the MG82 light machine gun that has been introduced once we hit tier 15. So they've also now done a lot of attachments for the barrels in snipers. So they've increased, basically, for the combat recon, the longest barrel, they've increased the velocity on every single gun here, which is cool. That's going to help to make it make you get on target more and bring it in line with basically the HDR and the KR98 and the SPR that we have in Modern Warfare. The change will bring the longest guns, yeah, close to them all, yeah, makes more sense. So then we look at the assault rifles. So there are assault rifles for the first pair, the Ranger and the Takedown. So the Ranger was one which we pretty much use for most of the time for assault rifles. Now increases bullet velocity by 50%, which is even better. Increases vertical recoil control by 50%. Now increases the hip spread by 20%. So with this on the Krig in particular and the Farah, this will make it a better medium to long range gun, which hopefully should bring this up in line with the AMAX, one would hope. So that's a good change. Takedown assault rifles, they've increased this as well, damage range, but we don't pretend to use this for mid to long range engagements. And this is the same with the reinforced match grade for light machine guns, but all increases, slight decreases the ADS move speed, sprint speed, and ADS speed. Task force barrels, which we use quite a lot for our guns as well, for the assault rifles. Increase the bullet velocity, which is cool. Effective damage range, horizontal recoil control, vertical recoil control. Decrease, so they've decreased the move speed, decreased speed by, now decreases ADS speed, and now increases hipfire spread. So they've kind of done some nerfs to this, but also buffed it as well. So interesting how that's going to work out in terms of the XM4 build and how we're going to play and use that, but still not too bad. Optics, they've adapted and shifted all the optics slightly. Underbarrels, the aiming stability increased for snipers, which is cool. Rose skin has received material updates to increase visibility. Interesting. And that's pretty much it. So I'll tell you what, let's have a quick little look over in Warzone. So automatically we can see the rose skin there quite nicely. And I can't see much changes about it at all. I don't really see hardly anything. So whilst we're here, let's have a little look at what I was rocking. So before in my loadouts, I had my top 5, and then I had my normal ones at the bottom. So my top 5, I loved rocking the BULLFROG with the Ram 7. I think the Ram 7 will come to the fore. I think this gun is absolutely sweet as you like. So for the Ram 7, I run the monolithic with the Ranger barrel, the Commando underbarrel, 50 round mag, and the VLK 3x optic. This gun beams, and also when you mount this gun has no recoil control at all. It is the easiest gun, the best gun for beaming with. And with the slight nerfs to the AMAX, people will be dropping them, maybe moving from the AMAX to the Ram. The BULLFROG, they've changed the slight on the scope thing. We cannot see it here, but I imagine on the 2 3 points there's going to be a slight change. Can we see it? Probably not. It's not going to be possible. So they've slightly changed with the task force barrel. So they've vertical and horizontal recoil control buggered slightly. So maybe if it's a bit too much, we might have to change what we've got and then shove on the specs now. But I believe that the recoil's still going to be okay. The XM4, which I love pairing with the Ram. I think the XM4 is a fantastic gun. This one I run the suppressor with the task force barrel, the Tiger Lightspeed, the Raider pad, and a 45 round mag. So as you can see here, for massive bullet velocity, horizontal recontrol, vertical recontrol, massively affected, and effective damage rate. However, they've aim walking movement speed, aim down sight speed, and sprint move speed. So they've really affected the mobility on the task force barrel here. So that'll be interesting how we're going to rock this up. This will be something I'll be touching on in the future update, but hopefully that still will be cool. ASVL not touched. This gun is fantastic for solo play as an SMG. This has a very small mag, but actually has a speedy time to kill. And then one more thing I want to touch on is the PKM. This gun is a fantastic LMG, but I believe that the new one, the MG82, will smash this off its post. So check that out for an update. And the Street Sweeper, as we know, has had a massive nerf as well. This gun was definitely OP before. So all in all, guys, before I do go, the Krig. This has basically had a slight aim movement, walking speed, and hip fire axis. So the Ranger barrel has increased bullet velocity and vertical recontrol more so. So this loadout here, agency suppressor, Ranger, actual 3 times the 45 round mag, and the field agent grip. I believe that this gun will be brought to the fore as well. So definitely start checking and using this one out. But make sure you guys check for some of my top loadouts that we're going to be going through. Once I've managed to rank up this new LMG, checked it out and stuff, and I'll be dropping the top 5 loadouts for you guys in the next week or so. Love and peace, and lots of war in Verdansk. Laters, over and out.